Come Japan.
Welcome to another edition of Why Come Japan. I'm your host, Mr. Radrey, where I interview creatives inside or outside of Japan. And today on my show is KidShoryuken.
All right, automatically nominee for best show ever.
I guess I have to ask. This is kind of a silly question. I always like asking the silly questions first.
Sure.
Why are you a kid and not like man Shoryuken or?
That's people have brought that up. Actually, in one of my most recent videos, somebody put in the comments that it should be grown ass man Shoryuken. I came up with that name when I was a kid. I was a teenager at the time, and it was just like a play on sort of like, I guess I was really high on my own Street Fighter abilities, which I'm not so much anymore. You're playing like people who are like really good. But at the time, it was sort of like a Billy the Kid kind of thing, like sort of like a Shoryuken the Kid, like he can go into the arcade and kick the shit out of anybody or something, like, watch out for that guy. So that was kind of like the idea behind it. It was like a melding, because I'm a big fan of like Western movies and shit like that. So it was sort of a melding of the idea of like someone who's really young, but like very much an expert in their field. So like Billy the Kid, but I don't shoot guns, I throw Shoryukens. So that was kind of the idea. It was back in the day. I was like 17 when I came up with it. Now I'm 32. It's not so applicable, but yeah, people do still sometimes refer to me in comments and other things as kid, which is fine. I'll take that. There are worse things to be called. So
yeah, I guess that's true. So wait, when did you first start this channel? It was back in 2011. Because I mean, I was digging through your YouTube channel. Like that's
but I had the name. I had the name before that, so I used it on like other platforms. So yeah, but in 2011 was when I started the channel I currently have. I actually had a channel before that. I think I started like in the early onset of YouTube, but I wasn't producing videos. I was only using it to comment on just videos and things like that. And then I lost that channel. I don't remember exactly how, but I couldn't get access to it again. So I just started up the current one in 2011. So.
Oh, okay. So a little context here. Somebody in the chat's asking why we can't see your face.
Because I'm not wearing pants and or
good enough. Not wearing a shirt. I mean, you don't need to wear pants.
No. Well, I'm totally naked right now, and I just didn't want
podcasting in the nude
offend anybody's eyes. I thought it would be better to just leave my camera off, and instead we have this lovely illustration made for me by my good friend DJ Medina, and I think that's people like that better than they will the sight of my naked flesh. So.
Comment from the chat. Transient Image asks, "What kind of beer do you have, Jim?"
He knows me all too well. It's an Asahi Super Dry.
Okay.
I don't even know how he knows I have it, but I have it. It's in my hand as we speak.
Okay. Well, all right. So basically, KidShoryuken came from like mixing what's a portmanteau. Shoryuken and you being a kid at a time, and you just combining the two, and bada bing, bada boom, you got Shoryuken or KidShoryuken.
That's
okay.
Right.
So give me a little bit of a picture here. You've discussed this story many times on like your YouTube channel about how you came to Japan, and so let me see if I got this right. You're somewhere from the States, right?
Yes, I'm originally from Louisiana.
Louisiana, okay, that's right. So how far from Nolans, I guess as they call it?
A couple hours drive, I guess. It's in southern Louisiana, the town I'm from.
Okay, I see.
Not too far from New Orleans. It's in the it's like adjacent to what's called Acadia Parish, and Acadia Parish is sort of like it's a real kind of like a hub of like Cajun culture and stuff like that. So that's where I'm from.
Oh, I see. And I can't remember what it is. You said that what brought you to Japan was I want to say video games. I don't
No,
know.
I wish. No, back in it was 2010. I actually used to be enlisted in the Air Force. I was a medic for just over 7 years, and I was in Germany at the time. I spent 2 years living in Germany, and while I was there, a job opening came up at Yokota Air Base, which is in West Tokyo, and I put in for it, and I got selected for it, and that was how I initially came to Japan. I worked at the hospital at Yokota Air Base.
Oh, okay. But so you never had like a real interest in Japan before then, or?
Oh, I did, sure. As a kid, growing up on first and foremost video games, which most of the video games I played, I eventually realized were Japanese. So mostly like Capcom, Konami, Nintendo, Sega, Square, all that kind of stuff. So I had an interest in Japanese video games. And then at some point, in like maybe the mid 90s, early mid 90s, I started to watch anime and actually realize I was watching anime and that it was Japanese animation. And then also at the same time, learning a bit, like, I guess, about the history of Japan in middle school in like a world history class. All of that stuff kind of amalgamated. So yeah, I mean, it's very like surface level stuff. As a kid, I liked video games and anime, and I had a very rudimentary understanding of Japanese history, however much you learn in middle school. But yeah, I didn't come to Japan because I had like some burning desire to be here. Like I wanted to, like I thought it would be really cool, but it wasn't like one of those things where like it was like my doing. It was totally out of my hands. It was just kind of fortuitous, I guess.
Oh, okay. So that makes me think like, so you had like a lot of video games that you liked that were Japanese. I can't
Yeah.
even think of any American video games back then that I played.
Oh, there are
I mean, I can
quite
think
a
of
lot.
Atari, but that's all I'm thinking of right now.
Well, from when it comes to like 16 bits, I mean, to this day, some of my favorite 16-bit games are stuff that is American made, like Earthworm Jim,
Yeah, so I was just thinking of
um,
actually right now.
uh,
Inform Jim.
stuff like Boogerman, Zombies Ate My Neighbors, the Super Star
Oh
Wars
yeah.
game.
Okay. Well, what am I thinking?
Yeah, lots of stuff like that. Um, and then other stuff. I mean, Donkey Kong Country is, I mean, that's developed. I think it's developed by Rare, which is in the UK, but I think all of the characters and marketing and everything was developed by Nintendo of America. So that was kind of a cross thing between the UK and the US. But and then Sonic, you could say a lot of what Sonic the Hedgehog was developed at Sega of America. Sonic is a very American character, I guess. I mean, if you really want to
Well, he looks
split.
different in America. He has that mohawk thing in the
Yeah,
US.
but I'm pretty sure specifically, like all of the first few games were all developed at Sega of America, so it was kind of like a cross between like a Japanese development and U.S. development team. But yeah, there's like a lot of American input into Sonic the Hedgehog. But yeah, there are a lot of great American and European games at the time. It's just most of the really great games, the stuff that I was especially into, stuff like Street Fighter and Mega Man, Castlevania, Zelda. Those are kind of like my all-time favorites, and that's all Japanese. So, and then of course later when you got to like 32-bit and further on, I mean, like Rockstar games like Grand Theft Auto was like the big new fucking thing everybody had to play. And then other stuff, Xbox. I got really into Xbox when those came out, and I had a lot of great games for that were Western developed, like Voodoo Vince and Halo and Oddworld, Abe's Odyssey, and
Oddworld is good. Still making
yeah.
games
So
today.
yeah, so it's yeah, it's a mixed bag for me, the games I love, but yeah, for the most part, I would say most of the games I played back then were Japanese.
Okay, so I guess I have to bring this up. We were talking off the record just a minute ago. I
Oh
was
yeah.
just asking you how your day was, and you started it by saying about how somebody split their head open.
Well, he almost split his head open. I mean, it wouldn't have been
All right,
too far.
context. What? So wait, I asked you how your day was, and you said you had an acting class, and then what else?
Yes.
You work for some
Well,
production company, or?
yes, at the moment, and I've actually been sharing a ton of the videos I've been working on for Japan Headlines, but it's a production company that I'm working at called Pacific Bridge, and so I've been interning there for the first half of the day, and then going to school the second half. And today, first class was really boring, uneventful. Second class is an acting class I'm just taking for the hell of it. And during some warm up exercise, it was like if you screwed up, you had to pretend to die, like some dramatic death, as just like a little penalty, and then you're out of the game. And this one guy, I think he kind of wanted to go the extra mile, so he just sort of let his body go limp and just totally collapsed, and the back of his head hit the floor really, really hard, like to the point where it made a really kind of like thunderous sound. It made his head sound hollow, actually. But that floor is just carpet on concrete. So it was a very heavy impact. And then it looked like he was unconscious for a few seconds and then came to and was kind of like, I'm fine, I'm fine. And he sort of pulled himself into a chair. And but for the rest of the class, when he had to talk, his speech was pretty slurred and he had kind of a glazed over look in his eyes. And I was like, you might want to have that guy go see someone. I'm pretty sure he has a concussion, because it was not a light tap. His head really impacted the floor, and it was kind of horrifying. I hope that guy is getting the help he needs right now.
So wait, okay, wait, okay, maybe I forgot something here, right? I lost something here. Why are you taking acting classes? Is it for this company called Pacific Bridge?
No.
I'm Pacific Rim, but okay.
No. I'm in my final semester at Temple University right now, finishing
Wait. You went to
communication.
Temple? That I didn't know. Okay, I went to Temple as well. Okay.
Yeah,
Everybody
I'm
goes to
finishing
Temple.
Everybody ends up at Temple eventually. Actually, I used to go to Lakeland in Shinjuku, and then after I graduated there, started to go to Temple. And so I'm in my final semester. I'm finishing a communications degree, and I needed just a full-time schedule. And so there were only 2 classes I needed to graduate, so I took those 2. And then they were like, well, just take 2 other ones just for the hell of it, just for fun. So one on there was acting. So I was like, cool, I'll take acting. That sounds like a easy thing to coast through. And then I'm in a documentary filmmaking class as just for fun right now. So I'm gonna work on a couple of short documentary films with a group of other students. But yeah, acting class.
Is that with Ron Carr?
No, it's not with Ron. It's with Walter. I don't even remember. Yeah, I don't even remember his last name because everybody just calls him Walter or Wally. But he's a great guy, though. Actually, he was last year. Michael Rooker, of all people, came to our school to kind of like give a talk and hang out with all the comm students.
Right, I saw that. One of my former teachers, who's a teacher there, Carl Newbert.
Oh yeah, Carl. Love Carl. I do a great impression of Carl. It's the first time there was like transgenders in movies, and it's really cool.
Yeah, he does.
That's my Carl impression. It's very cool. Yeah, I love Carl though. He's great. But yeah, it was awesome. So because apparently Walter and Michael Rooker are just like friends that go back to like college, and so when Rooker was here for Comic-Con, he was just like, "Hey, come hang out and do interviews with the students and like give a talk and stuff." So I was like, "Cool." So he came hang out, gave away a bunch of free signed pictures that I guess he would normally charge for at like Comic-Con or something. He was just giving them away and stuff. Really nice guy. But yeah, I'm enjoying the experience of this acting class because I get to watch guys crack their fucking coconut on the floor, and there's some good-looking girls in this class as well, which I can't complain about.
Good-looking girls cracking head open. Sounds like a trauma movie.
I just get to sit back and watch, and it's great. So I'm gonna walk out of there hopefully with an A, because I'm not much of an actor, but I don't really think he cares. He's just a nice guy.
Huh. Well, okay. Well, that's reassuring. Okay, so you go to Temple right now, and that must mean, because I know like when I was there, you had to take an internship. Is the internship you're taking right now? You say it's with Pacific Bridge. Is that
Yes,
correct?
Pacific Bridge. Yes.
And it's like a video production company.
Yes, it is.
Okay, is that the one? Because I know I did some research here. Is that the one that produces Japan Headlines?
It is.
The other channel.
I've been working on some of that for them, actually hosting some of those videos, doing some editing, writing scripts. I mean, really, when I went there to talk to the company's owner about possibly interning there, he specifically wanted me to do stuff with like their social media and specifically YouTube. Because when I went there, I had this little sit down talk with him. Their YouTube channel had like 40 subscribers with like over 60 videos, so they weren't putting things together. So I'm happy to say I've only been there about a month, and it's gone from 40 to about 500. And I don't know, trying to make their videos a little more YouTubey, I guess. Attract some people to them. So far so good. I'm having fun. It's always nice to get a press pass and go check out things for free that other people have to pay for. So I like that a lot. And just even when I'm just doing it in my spare time, I like fucking with cameras. I like shooting. I like editing. It's fun for me. So if I could do something like that in a work setting, then yeah, that's good. That's all I really want to do.
I like fucking with cameras from Jim.
Oh, fucking with cameras, man. Now, you want to talk about a good time? Give me some cameras. I'll fuck with them.
Yeah. I hope if anybody takes anything from this interview, I hope it's that.
Yeah, this guy, he fucks with cameras. I fucks with that.
All right. Okay. So,
do people normally say "fuck" this much on your show?
No, it's fine.
Have you had potty mouths?
No, it's fine.
You haven't had Sam on yet?
No, I've had Sam on. He was the third guest. Oh, okay. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, this podcast is rated E, not for everyone, but for explicit, quote unquote.
Yeah. Okay. There we go. Good. Yeah, I don't get to swear very much on my channel just because I don't know. I swear a lot in like just common like everyday conversation, but whenever I'm like writing something down for myself to say, for some reason I usually leave out all the. I run a clean show over there, and I can't stand it. So
we can't stand saying expletives.
No, I mean I could, but I just don't. I don't know. Just in the context of the videos I make, I don't really see where it fits in. I don't know. I guess I kind of like try to script and control the things I make a little bit. And when I'm thinking of things to say, I don't think of words like shit and fuck. I think about like good words. I'm like, what should I say? Whenever I'm just kind of like having casual conversations, I don't really have much of a what should I say kind of filter. But I do have it when I write, though.
Okay. You do lots of writing, mostly for school, or?
Well, for school, and also just, I mean, I do like game reviews on my channel, and that's all scripted. Right. Well, it's all mostly scripted. I ad-lib some of it. But, I didn't feel the need to be like one of those people that's like, this game is a pile of horse shit and fucking cock and everything. And, that's...
Yeah, I mean, I love the angry video game nerd, but
sometimes me too.
His word choice kind of bothers me sometimes.
Well, I love his videos, and that's like perfect for his character. I don't really have a character I'm portraying though, so it's like I don't know. I didn't feel the need. Like really, like maybe one of my favorite game reviewers was just a Classic Game Room, just because of how I don't know.
What's the guy's name? Mark? Steve?
Yeah, Mark. Something I forgot his last name. I used to know it. He sent me. I used to be a patron of his, and he sent me some like T-shirts and illustrations and stuff in the mail, which is very nice of him. But yeah, that was like I don't know years ago. But yeah, I really liked his stuff a lot, and kind of when I started doing my own, I wanted to emulate him a little bit. I wanted it to just be kind of like free form and kind of like chill. All the tough kind of stuff. I didn't feel the need to like. I'm not a very high person typically. I'm not super excitable. So I think that kind of when I'm like writing things like that, it's kind of like that's how it is on paper. Like the way I'm thinking is like very subdued. So I'm like, okay, I'll say it like that.
Right. Okay. So I am very curious about this production company. It's okay, so what's their basic vision for the show? I mean, for the product I guess they're making. Is it similar to like, Red Duck posts?
Yeah. Yeah, I know that. Um,
Is it similar to something like that? Red, for our audience out there who doesn't know, Red Dog Post make these videos on Facebook that display some part of Japan that's like, wow, cool and groovy parts of Japan. Well, they don't have that voice, but
yeah, but if they had a voice, that would be the voice.
it would probably be like that. Yeah,
Um, well,
and it's usually
most
hostless, but yeah,
yeah, it
or some
is.
cute
That was
girl or something.
one of the things I wanted to change for because Japan headlines is just like a thing they're doing, just sort of like as I don't know, trying to get it going. Like where the most of the business that we do is working with AP and other news organizations that are don't necessarily have like correspondence in Japan, but still want footage from like, interesting things that are going on. So AP has a program called Horizons where they get lots of little news stories from different parts of the world. And so we do that. We produce a lot of stuff for them. And then some of what we record for that ends up translating into videos for Japan headlines. And then there's also another thing called Japan Headline Source, where we put video packages on there, and then subscribers to that, mostly in like Hong Kong and Taiwan and places like that, if they want some of that for a news story they want to run on their channel or something, they can take it from there. So that's really mostly where the money comes from. We also work with Nissan and some other companies producing corporate videos and things like that for them. So that's where all the money comes from. And then Japan headlines, like the stuff produced for Facebook and YouTube, that's just kind of a thing more that he was like exploring, like seeing like, well, could we get an audience for this? Could we make some money for this? Let's see. Let's try out the social media thing. So it's building towards that. But I guess the idea is that it can be like, cool, sort of interesting news stories or points of interest from around Japan that you can deliver to people in English, basically. And then there's other stuff they're working on, like a website that can, they're working on like a program that can deliver like, in fairly short order, deliver news stories trending in Japan in like a number of languages, not just for people abroad who might be interested, but also for the people that live in Japan that don't speak Japanese as a first language and might have, they might be out of the loop on a lot of news stories. It's something that could be useful for people that speak, they primarily speak English or Chinese or Thai or Tagalog or something like that. So they work on a bunch of stuff.
Okay, I see. So is this company looking for more interns? Because I'm certainly
Uh,
looking for some. I don't know.
I don't
I'm
know.
willing
I
to do
mean,
hosting.
actually,
I got the
you're not
personality. I don't know.
you're not the first person to ask me that, and
Yeah.
at the moment, I don't think so because it's a very very small
Right. Right.
company.
I was talking to Sam
Um,
about this. He was telling me.
Yeah, it's yeah. Sam came by to shoot some stuff with us at our office because we have a pretty nice studio there. We have some pretty kick-ass cameras, nice lighting setup, all that stuff. Um, so Sam came over. We shot a segment for our channel, and we shot a segment for his. And yeah, it was pretty fun.
Oh, that's cool. Well, I guess I really
Whenever
have to thank.
whenever-
I'm sorry. Say that again.
I said whenever those come out is whenever because it's I don't know. We're still editing that shit because we shot a lot. So I have no idea
Oh,
when that's
okay.
coming out.
Well, yeah, I guess that's what a company would do. So you always have to shoot lots of stuff. Oh boy, thank God I'm not editing. That sounds like a lot.
Yeah, quite a bit. But it's cool. It's fun. There was a lot
Okay.
of funny bits in there. So it's fun to go through and just weed out the best parts. So I'm enjoying it so far.
Okay. Oh, let me ask you this. What is it that people outside of Japan like want to see like on Japan headlines? Do you know? Like, I guess you kind of mentioned that already. You said kind of like just news that's in English, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm of the mind like I don't like the guy that owns the company, he's more of a newsman. His background is just in like straight journalism.
Okay.
I have a background in journalism. I've taken, I have plenty of education in, the field of journalism. But for the most part, I don't know that I'm terribly interested in journalism so much as I'm interested in like covering like events and things that are more like focused on like entertainment and fun. And I think, generally speaking, have in like
Uh-oh.
whatever culture, lifestyle, um, that's more of an interest to them than like, like the hard hitting news stories. I mean, that stuff can be kind of cool too. But just like the last couple of videos we've done, there's one out now on Robodex, which is just like this big exhibition for all the like latest like robotics advancements in Japan. We went to the Tokyo Auto Salon, and we just shot a shit ton of cars and hot chicks and stuff, and just gave people some background on that. Shot Comic Con, Tokyo Game Show, other like robotics events. Mostly stuff like that. Friday we're gonna go shoot the Amusement Expo, which is just a big expo dedicated to arcade games. So I'm looking forward to that. And I've pitched some other stuff. I've pitched shoots at drift racing tracks. I pitched women's wrestling, that we should go to a women's wrestling event and shoot that. And so I'm more of the mind that I think people are more interested in entertainment than news per se. And that was the whole reason we had Sam come over and shoot that stuff with us. And we've been shooting stuff in that studio is because we were like, well, maybe we should just shoot some stuff that's kind of like just casual and fun and lets people get to know the crew for the show. And so we've started doing stuff like that. It's like usual, like J-vloggy type stuff. Like the video we shot with Sam was, they have those like make it yourself candy sets where it's like candy sushi and whatever else, little candy bento boxes, and it's all gummy type stuff. So we did that. So me, Sam, and Ashley, who also works there, we all sat there, and Sam and Ashley sort of put this stuff together, and we had a little side by side comparison of how well they did, and then I had to eat it, and it was well, I mean, it was what it was. But that was what we did. We sat around, at a table, fucking around with these little candy sets and just eating it and telling jokes and having fun. And so we want some stuff like that, just to, so it's not just like you said, like Red Duck, where it's just like, here's a bunch of images, here's some text on the screen, and that's it. And it's like very kind of like impersonal. It's just like, look at this cool shit. And then you're like, okay, that was cool. We want to have something like that, but we want to have like people and faces and like personalities attached to it. So you don't just like see like, oh, here's this cool thing, but you get to like go along with somebody else who's like, they're kind of like your protagonist for the video, kind of experiencing this shit too. So that's what we want. We want to have kind of like that, where it's like giving you some insight into all the stuff that goes on in Japan, but also giving you like personalities to go along with it, like hosts, like people that you can watch, and then in the comments you can, address them personally or whatever, things like that. We want it to be a little more personalized than just, text on a screen.
Okay, so what I guess what I am curious
So
about is how are you like, because I mean the videos itself, I mean it's not like um not has like bajillion numbers or anything. I mean, like, is it kind of like done through mostly Facebook posts, or is it done through a different form medium?
well, the biggest viewership we have is through Facebook. Maybe we
Okay,
have
right,
over 200,000 followers on Facebook, because they've been using Facebook to publish their videos for a couple of years now. They
right.
only really got started on YouTube recently, and they were kind of floundering. They didn't really know how to, I guess, grow an audience there. They didn't, because none of them there had ever really worked on YouTube before. So I was like, I mean, I have a smaller channel, but I have some insight into how to run a YouTube channel. I'll come along and, try my hand at it. So they were like, okay, cool. So there I am.
Okay, well then tell me what originally motivated you to start making videos? Were you just like, hey, I saw this great video game and I just want to talk about it. Is that basically
Um,
it?
yeah, pretty much, because I was watching a lot of YouTube. Um, just watching mostly gaming channels, stuff like Classic Game Room, AVGN, and then watching smaller channels. Just because when I came to Japan and started, I discovered like Hard Off and other stuff, stores like that. Started buying up initially just like some of the classics, like stuff. I was like, wow, I haven't played this in forever. So buy a Super Famicom and like Zelda and Mario, and then eventually started to like expand a little bit, and then it got to the point where I was starting to collect games. I had a collection of games going again. I started to watch YouTube channels, like instead of not just like the big channels that are reviewing games and stuff, but like smaller channels where it's just like game collectors. And just every video is like, hey, here's these handful of games I got recently. And so I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. Like it's like a hobby, and I just kind of wanted to share my hobby. So just from watching other people make their videos about games and shit, I was like, I'd like to do that. That seems kind of fun. Just like another way to get a little more enjoyment out of my hobby, and started making like really really terrible videos. In retrospect, they're not even edited. It's just the video opens, like it begins, and my hand is coming away from the camera because I had to like hit the record button, and it ends with my hand going back to the camera to hit the record button again. So they're really shoddy, terribly made videos. But yeah, I just wanted to have something. I wanted to share my love of game collecting with those other people. And then eventually I was like getting more into like watching other people review games, and like, well, how do they do it? I think I could do that. Watching people making like game hunting videos, like I think I could do that. I have kind of a unique situation here, and yeah, so just and then just getting more acquainted with. Yeah, I didn't. The day I found out I had a Windows Movie Maker on my laptop, I was like, hey, you can edit stuff on here. Wow, cool. And then so playing around with that, and then getting like later on moving on like getting like Adobe and other various things, and just sort of like teaching myself like very basic editing, and buying another cameras and microphones, and just sort of like making a fun hobby out of it. And yeah, here I am.
All right, so question from the chat. I probably cannot pronounce this. Wishneel? I don't know. Start? I can't pronounce it. So it looks Slavic. How does Jim fit all the games in his small Tokyo apartment?
um I don't know, I don't have much of anything else in my apartment, so that's it. It's just I have one wall that's just all the games, and I'm running out of space for them. I have games in boxes and things like that up in my loft. So at some point soon, one of two things is going to happen. I'm either going to need to move to a bigger apartment or start selling some games. I don't, I could stand to part with some of these, but if I could avoid that, I would prefer that. But whichever comes first. Either I run out of room or I get the hell out of here.
Right. Like sometimes I like looking for games at Book Off or Hard Off here in Japan, but it's just the thing that deters me away from those places is just the smell sometimes. I don't know if you ever had that problem.
I don't know. I don't know any particular smells unless
it's mostly hard offs. I've noticed. Maybe it's the name. I don't know.
Maybe. I mean, everything. If you go like, I guess specifically to like the area like the really old electronics, maybe those have some like residual funk, or like smokes.
Residual funk, like that.
Maybe like if it was in the the home of like someone who smoked heavily back in the day.
Oh yeah, that's true. You do see that.
It might have kind of a rank smell. I mean, I've bought games there that were sealed in plastic, and got them home and opened them up and was just hit in the face with just like decades of cigarette smoke. So that could be an explanation for it.
Like I remember going to Super Potato once, and like you could tell which person was a smoker who had it and which person wasn't, because like one of them was yellow and the other one was white.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know.
Not attractive for your games.
I mean, because like I used to go to thrift stores all the time back in the U.S. and they'd always have like these horrible rank ass smells all the time. And I mean, sometimes I deal with them, and sometimes like, it's whatever. It's like I'm getting good books, I'm getting good deals, finding good stuff, right?
Fun story. When I was a teenager, I had a little bit of a scuffle with the law, and had to do some community service. And
this is why everybody came here tonight.
Yeah, it's a tell all. So I did my community service at a Goodwill, and that was so funky having to sift through, because like people just turn in like whatever, just shit they want to get rid of. They're like, here's an old fucking garbage bag full of clothes and shoes and I don't want any more. And they just drop it off and you have to like go through it and whatever is garbage you chuck. So like I would say like 85% of the stuff they got in there they threw away. But still I would have to go through and sort through all these old clothes and shoes and just, funky people's trash that they instead of throwing it at a landfill, they turned it into Goodwill. So that wasn't fun. That smelled terrible. I walked out of there smelling like feet like every day. Gross. I learned my lesson. I never broke the law again, I swear.
What did you do? I guess if you can't say, it's fine. But
oh no, it's just what didn't I do? I mean, really, boy, my teenage years they were out
I
of
just
control,
wanted some
man.
goddamn fucking chocolate. Goddamn.
Oh god, I murdered an entire family in their sleep, and I got probation and community service, and and I didn't think I did anything wrong really. Nobody liked those people, but the judge saw it differently, so there it was.
You're still here today. Well,
yeah, thank
it's good
you.
that they let you into Japan.
Yeah, well, good old white privilege saves the day again. I didn't do no time. The judge, judge took one look at me and he was like, "Yeah, he seems like a nice young man. Just go work at the Goodwill a little bit. We'll forget all about that family you killed."
Yeah. All right, I'll leave it at that. Sounds good enough to me.
I was like, yes, sir. I swear on this stack of Bibles, sir. Ah, good boy. Get the hell out of here. All right, you go on. You were saying?
Yeah, no, actually, well, not really related to this. I used to have a friend who worked at Goodwill, and he used to always snag all the good stuff. When
I tried, they wouldn't let me. Somebody turned in an Atari 2600 once with a bunch of games, and I wanted to buy it. I was like, hey, as soon as I get done with this shift, I'll go home, get some cash together. I'll give you $30 for this. And they refused to sell it to me. They were going to post it on eBay. So I was pissed about that. They also were real shady and tried to get more hours out of me than I was supposed to give them. And I had to get like my probation officer to like go down there and give them some Saurus. And then they let it slide. But yeah, they were some crooks. Anyway, I'm not speaking very well of Goodwill tonight. But hey, fuck them. Who cares?
It's fine. I mean, I don't know. I have a friend who's a manager there, but I'm sure he could care less. He was in my first short film. Not like that matters. But
Goodwill, goddamn crooks. Anyway.
All right. Well, let me ask you something. Do you play new games ever?
No.
No.
Like, nope. I do not have a single.
Like, no indie games. Nothing from Steam or anything.
Nope. I don't have a single current gen system in this apartment. Don't have no Steam. Nothing. The most recent console I have is an Xbox 360. I have no. Again, I don't really have much room in here. And a lot of my time is dedicated to, I mean, not just playing like retro games, but, reviewing them and things like that. And so I don't have a whole lot of time to do that anyway, between interning and being a full-time student. So when I do have some time to play games, I don't really want to go and buy like a new console and a whole library of games to support them when I've got so much time invested in other things. Again, if I had like a bigger apartment and more money, yeah, sure, I'd go buy a PS4 right now and get a bunch of games and a VR headset and all that shit. But that's just not feasible right now. I don't have a ton of time on my hands for that kind of thing. I don't have a ton of money or space either. So everything is limited. So no, I do not have any current gen consoles in my apartment right now.
Oh, really? Okay. So basically, the only reason for that is just lack of interest or just lack of space.
No, I have interest. I love video games. There's plenty of stuff out on PS4, for example, that I wouldn't mind playing. I have precious little space, precious little money, and precious little time.
Right. No, I know that feeling. It feels like everything's competing for my attention these days.
Yeah. So when more of those things free up, I'm sure I'll go buy a PS4, a handful of games, and I don't know, maybe that'll become content on my channel. But for them right now, the focus is entirely on retro games and Japan exclusive stuff. Kind of like sometimes kind of quirkier things that were released here that people might be interested in.
TKO Sam asks, Jim, where the hell is your webcam, you son of a bitch?
Well, I already explained this,
Yeah, well,
Sam.
he's late to the party, so
As usual, Sam is always fucking late to everything. I mean, I can't. This fucking guy, you can't make plans with him. You say he's going to be somewhere, and then you're there waiting a half an hour, and then he shows up and he doesn't even say he's sorry. So, Sam, I explained all this already, so you're just going to have to watch this later after we're done recording it. And don't be dicking around in those comments either, because, I'm sick of your shit, man.
wow.
All right.
Telling it like it is, I see.
Oh, yeah, I'm a straight shooter, buddy. I tells it like it is.
Yeah.
Sam ain't no good.
Yeah.
Unsubscribed from Sam for being a dick.
Yeah. Sam was telling me that your
That I'm
goal,
very well hung. Yes, that's true.
well, I mean, I had an Asian
No.
friend. I had an Asian friend who wished his name was well hung, but
Oh,
anyway,
that would be a great name.
that would be what?
That would be a great name to have.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
he said what now?
He was telling me that your, I guess, goal or vision of what it is as a YouTube creator is to be kind of like the metal Jesus as a collector. Is that true? Because he's got pretty good numbers, and I mean he's a big collector.
Yeah. Numbers wise, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't want to be like Metal Jesus. He's him, and I'm me. I don't really want to like emulate anyone else on YouTube. I'd love to have his numbers. I'd love to be making his money. But yeah, I don't necessarily want to be like that guy. But I would like to replicate what he's done. So I don't know if that's ever actually going to happen. But yeah, sure. I'd very much like to have a much larger audience than I have now. It's just I don't know. It takes time. Like it's something that's been building slowly but surely. So I'm kind of just waiting for like to reach a tipping point where I don't know, the audience either grows or I just shrink back into obscurity and I don't know, walk away from that shit.
All right. So what I know about people who are constantly on the hunt, looking for things and stuff, they often have like their holy grails or things that they hold to be very important or things they're constantly looking for. Is there anything you're like, oh, I can't wait to get my hands on one of those?
It's so hard for me to have that now just because living so close to Akihabara and everything's there and for a price you can find it. So it's not like it's hard to find anything here. It really isn't. I can just go check the stores there and any game I could think of, probably someone's going to have it. The problem comes in that it's really fucking expensive. And I just don't have that kind of money available to me. So they're holy grails, and the fact that I can't obtain them because they're really expensive, but they're not like hard to find. They're right there. They're in some glass case in some fucking store.
Do you have LSD for the PlayStation?
Do I have LSD?
1?
No, I do not have LSD.
Oh, okay.
Do not have that. Things I would like to have now. I'd love to have like a copy of Holy Diver for the Famicom. That would be fun. I'd love to have a copy of Hyper Duel for the Saturn. That looks like a really great shooter because I like shoot 'em ups and I like platformers. So I'd like to have those games, but they're like a few $100 a piece, and that's just not feasible. If I had like a lot more money to my name, I would just go buy that shit right now. But it's just not in the cards.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess there's certain things I stopped collecting games recently just because, I kind of feel like I've hit a plateau and I've gotten everything that I pretty much want. Yeah. But maybe I'll probably get back into collecting myself if I find something I want to have. Because the problem I have today with like digital games is that, it's not officially yours. It belongs to the company. Yeah. Right? Yeah. So there is some value in actually owning a physical object. Like if you buy a CD today, it's yours. Opposed to like if you buy something on iTunes, it's not officially yours. You can't resell it. So there is that fact about why I actually do some collecting myself. But I don't know. In terms of Holy Grails, I can't think of anything. There's Abe 99. You know Abe 99?
Yeah, that's Abe's Exodus, yeah?
Yeah.
It's a good,
Do you have a copy of that?
I do not have a copy of that. It's a very expensive game.
Yeah, no, I mean, because and there's a place in Nakano Broadway that sells it for at least $100. So I don't
Yeah,
know
I
if I
typically
don't want to know if I want to pay $100 for
no.
a
These days, I try not to
20-year-old
go
game.
over. I try not to go over like $20 for a game.
Yeah,
That's kind of my threshold these days.
that's a pretty good quota, not quota. Yeah, threshold. That's a good word. Words are good, especially when they fit. All right. The Slavic guy in the chat, whose name I can't pronounce, Start asks, "Do you guys, Jim, maybe know some Japanese collectors? I'm coming to Japan sometimes, but I can't really get into the community or get to know any geeks or other foreigners."
Do I know any Japanese collectors? Not really, aside from what's his face Shinichiro that runs A Button, the bar in Akiba. Everything in there is part of his collection, so he's a game collector. But other than him, I don't think I know. I don't really know any other collectors. Period, except for my friend Reed, who lives in Nakano. But aside from Reed, I don't know. I don't run with like a collector crowd. I'm not the most like social person with my hobby. Like it kind of like my game collecting hobby extends as far as I do it for personal pleasure and then I share it through YouTube videos. But in my social life, like unless somebody comes and hangs out at my apartment, I don't. The gaming isn't really a big part of my social life. I spend a lot more time just sort of like hanging out, drinking, going to wrestling shows with friends and stuff like that, going to catch bands at local clubs and stuff. So yeah, like my game collecting hobby isn't really a big part of my social life actually.
Oh, I see. All right. Oh, so wait, what was the name of this club? What's it called? A button? What the
Yeah,
fuck?
a button,
A
a
button.
button
Okay.
game bar
Have you
in
made a video about
Akihabara.
this?
It's been in a couple of my videos,
Okay. It's
but I
not like
haven't
you have
made
a
a
video
video.
that says a button bar, quote unquote.
No,
Okay.
yeah, I've featured it in a video I did where I featured it in kind of like a skit, I guess, and another one where I sat down and had like a really brief interview with the owner Shinichiro.
Oh, I see. Okay. All right. Um, what you did like a couple of skits on YouTube for a little while there, where they were very vulgar. I remember that's the only thing I remember about
Oh,
them.
those were something I made with some friends from school, and we were sort of it was for a class we were in, and we were tasked to create a YouTube channel and make some videos for it, like a theme carries out throughout the videos. And everybody else's ideas were kind of like typical shit. Well, like let's make a series of videos where we go to like bars and restaurants, or let's go. One was like geocaching, and it was all kind of pretty simple, kind of I don't know, maybe slightly cliched stuff, just like J vlogging type shit. And we didn't really want to do that. I had the initial idea of selling it like it's a J vlog, like having someone on camera who's like this hyper excited J vlogger, who's going to go and do whatever. But then when you cut to actually doing whatever they were talking about, um, just make it seem as like deadpan and uninteresting as possible, just as like kind of like a joke, like contrast like the fantasy inside this person's apartment where they're just surrounded by all their manga and stuffed animals and shit. And they're just talking about how great it's going to be. Today we're going to go to a Japanese konbini and it's going to be this great thing and everything like that. But then cut to like the reality outside where they just go there and like pay their bills and make it like as uninteresting as possible. But that eventually evolved into sort of a thing where I had sort of found this drunken homeless girl and was forcing her to make my J vlog videos for me and taking her and putting her in all these compromising situations and steadily
Oh boy.
feeding her booze and and then yeah, eventually in the last episode, because we were only making 4 of them for the class, so we were like, well, for the last one, I was like, I'll just kill you. I'll just fucking kill you. That'd be pretty funny, right? so yeah, we did that, and I killed her. And actually, the plan was there was another girl in our group, and we were going to do a bit where I killed the first one, and then we cut to like a new girl coming in, and it was going to be kind of like a thing where like it's like a thing, like this guy does this, he goes and gets girls and gets them to be in his weird little videos and shit. But that chick never showed up that day for a shoot, so I end up putting a wig on and like some blood and stuff, and that was the ending that we shot. But yeah,
Oh, okay.
those were fun. But that was just like a little bit of fucking around for school. And then I ended up getting everybody's permission to post them on my channel, and they were the most disliked videos I ever published.
Oh,
And some
really?
people thought it was funny. Some people enjoyed like the really really black humor, and some people did not. And they were like, I don't like this. Please just do video game stuff. So to each
So
his own.
it was quite contentious, I see.
Yeah, it was a little bit polarizing, but they were fun to make. It was something like a little bit creative. I don't do a whole lot of creative stuff, so
Yeah,
that was
no,
like
I've
one of
never
my.
heard you swear that much before, and I'm like, whoa, like,
Yeah, well,
I was like, I had to like check, like, is this the same guy? I'm like, am I watching the right channel?
yeah, well, I tried to get into like that, like an unhinged mode, and
Yeah, no,
so
you're totally believable. I mean, I believed it. I mean, like, if you you ever wanted to like shoot a, I don't know, snuff movie that's like fake
yeah,
or something.
yeah, that was
I know that's not a glowing endorsement, but
yeah, that was kind of one of the things that was sort of our mindset was let's make it seem like a snuff film a little bit, but mix in like some Bob Ross because we wanted to make it look like we
so
wanted to give
Bob
it like a.
Ross. Okay.
Yeah, well, we wanted to give him sort of a low quality VHS kind of vibe to him,
Uh-huh.
and so I mixed in like footage. Like in one, I mixed in like footage from the Night Court, the intro to Night Court,
Okay.
to make it seem like someone just had like taped over old episodes of Night Court, and
Yeah.
and for the last one we did that, but I did it with Bob Ross, so it was like someone taped over their old Bob Ross tapes and accidentally replaced them, and that was
Oh,
sort of
we're
the
losing
idea
you.
about that.
Getting some lag in the connection there.
It's my fantastic Wi-Fi in this.
Yeah, why is your Wi-Fi so bad? I'm sorry. I'm not criticizing your Wi-Fi. I'm just
Well,
curious.
my apartment is through a company called Leo Palace,
Okay.
and I went ahead and got an apartment where instead they offer the Wi-Fi as part of a package deal that goes along with the rent. And I didn't realize how shitty it was going to be because I guess the Wi-Fi is shared by everyone in the building.
Oh,
Uh,
that's not good.
so it is
All right.
weak sauce. So yeah, I didn't know that when I first moved into this apartment. That's a big reason why I don't do any streaming is because it's not possible. Like I said, we would have better signal if I did this interview from fucking Starbucks.
You know the funny thing about doing a live stream or a live show when nobody can see your face is that the only comments I'm getting. It's like, where is AIDS face? I don't know why he's calling you AIDS. All I see is
Who's calling me AIDS?
some guy named Life. Where is
Oh,
AIDS?
this fucking guy.
All I can see.
This is some dickhead that's always in Sam's streams. He's always got some fucking smart ass comment.
It's like all I see is some ridiculous, inaccurate anime avatar. Hey,
Yeah, well, you can sit and spin, buddy. I already explained why my camera wasn't on. If you weren't here for that, then that's your tough luck.
yeah, well, because he's in the nude. Unless you like hot nudes, that's why you got Google. You can just,
Yeah.
you know, I mean,
He's told me, he said, put some pants on for this interview. And I said, buddy, you can go, go fuck yourself. You take me as I am. And so he was like, well, all right. Well, you got to turn the camera
like
off
this
then.
is yeah. I can't do that on YouTube. You know, that's like red.
It's late night. I got my beer. I got my pants off. And that's it. And take it or leave it. So you, Life, whoever you may be,
Life.
You can take all your fucking snarky comments and stuff them up your fucking butt. All right? And you should have got here to the show on time. So,
yeah,
anyway.
Yeah. So early bird catches the worm, or the beginning of the
Yeah.
story. You know, that's why there are show times at movie theaters. You know. supposed to show up on time. Can't expect to walk in the middle of a movie and expect to know everything.
Yeah, just a child wandering into the middle of a movie. Want to know what's going on?
I wonder what
Sorry,
that quote
son.
is from.
Yeah, what could it be? Actually, that guy when he hit his head on the floor earlier today, it sounded a lot like when that guy drops the dude's bowling ball on the floor, and it just makes that really like impactful like sound of just bowling ball hitting fucking linoleum. That's what that guy's head sounded like today. Now that I think
Oh,
about it, just
okay.
a
Well,
big
that's
bowling
that.
ball
For
impacting a
some
floor.
context, if nobody knows what we're talking about a film called The Big Lebowski. And if you haven't seen it, well, then
And obviously, you're not a golfer.
there you go. That's a good response to that. And no, this also kind of reminds me of. Are you familiar with Tim and Eric's bedtime stories?
Not not bedtime stories. I used to watch, their was
The
it
Awesome
Tom Goes to
Show.
the Mayor,
The
and then
Tom Goes
yeah, Awesome
There.
Show, great job, and then there was a movie they put out as well. I think it was just called Comedy. That was actually pretty good. I liked
Yeah,
it
no, they
generally.
made the $1 billion movie, and then Tim Heidecker made his own film called, or I guess him and Greg Turkington made a movie called The Comedy. Yeah, and that's kind of in a different tone from the rest of the series. But Tim and Eric's bedtime stories. It kind of reminds me. There's an episode called The Endorsement where they kind of keep these people in cages and they feed them to you know do their LA stuff. And it kind of reminded me of um your mini series on YouTube that was on there. I don't know. I have to say, I really enjoyed that mini series because, or at least the few episodes that I saw, because mostly it's like, okay, like this guy's not all just PG. He's not Captain Clean or something. You know, I think I can like this channel. It was refreshing. That's what I'm saying. Did I lose you? What happened?
You did it. Yeah,
Oh,
said the call was lost because of an unstable connection. So I missed everything you just said.
okay.
But
Well,
I'm
I
good.
was just I was
Very
just saying that
enlightening.
I was very happy that I got to see uh that short series that you did because it made me realize that you're not Mr. Clean
No, no, not by
like
a
all
long
these.
shot. Anybody that knows
Yeah.
me personally knows that that's not the case. I just, for whatever reason, I've decided to run a fairly clean YouTube channel. But no, in my day to day. I'm not like Sam. I'm not a total fucking edge lord, like wearing it on my sleeve all the time. But I have a tiny little bit of edge to me.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, I don't know. Life can get boring sometimes, so you got to live life on the edge, like that song says.
Oh yeah, I live it up, man. I do fucking drugs and sleep with hookers, and sometimes put a gun in my mouth, dare myself to pull the trigger. Life on the edge.
Aerosmith said
I
it
don't
best.
do any of those things. I don't want to, I don't want to scare anybody.
Yeah.
Or do I? Do I do all those things? Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. It's sort of like what's this? A lot of
Fast and
comedians
loose.
today. Like what's his name? Louis Anderson.
Louis
Like
Anderson.
yeah, Louis Anderson. You know Louis Anderson, right?
Yeah, the big fat guy.
Yeah, well, he used to have like such the self-deprecating humor where he used to make fun of himself so much that people actually took him seriously sometimes. They're like, "Are you okay? Do you really hate yourself? Are you okay?" Like, "Yeah, I'm fine. It's just my comedy act." So, I don't know. He didn't know where to draw the line.
Yeah. No, rest assured, I am a happy camper.
Oh, okay. All right. In the nude. All right,
Yeah,
nobody can
well,
see.
as often as possible at least.
Yeah. Actually, I kind of prefer it that we can't see you because we would have been able to have this setup, quote unquote. All right. So, what would you say you have learned from your time on YouTube starting since 2011? Did I lose you?
No, I'm still here, but
Oh,
you're
okay.
kind
You're
of
thinking about it. Okay.
Oh yeah, I'm thinking about so many things. I'm a deep thinker.
Oh, okay. All right.
You might want to repeat if you did ask a question. You might want to repeat it though.
Yeah, I did. I guess. Okay. I'll repeat it again. My question was. What would you say you've learned from your time on YouTube since 2011? Like, how would you say? How do you feel about your evolution on the channel?
I don't know. I mean, I understand how to basically put a video together, which I didn't when I first started. I know a bit about how to edit and what to point a camera at that looks, cool. This is what I've been doing a lot of lately. Just it's a big city, just go out and shoot it, and you probably get something pretty good. Um, so yeah, I guess I would say I learned that. I learned how to put something together that I'm, at least happy with, and then 9 times out of 10, other people are happy with it too. And I also learned the true meaning of life,
And that
is
is
that there is no meaning, and we're all just it's all spinning out into entropy, and we're all gonna die, and there is no God. And I learned all of this through YouTube. I don't know where I'm going with
really,
all this.
really what
I didn't
YouTube
learn any
channel
of
is
that
this?
through YouTube. I don't know.
Okay,
Yeah, I don't know. I learned all that on those other crazy YouTube channels I watch about life spinning out into entropy. I don't know. That's
okay,
more of a joke. I should really. I think I should put like some kind of indicator when I'm joking or not. Um, yeah, but that's basically it. Just learned how to fuck around with cameras and editing software, and that's it. I didn't learn any deeper things from YouTube. I didn't really care. just making some stupid videos.
right, okay. I mean, yeah, basically, one thing is like I don't really like making videos about Japan anymore because I used to do it a lot back in like, fuck, when was it? 2009. I mean, I used to make them all like on a steady basis. But now it's sort of like if I want to make a video, I kind of have to corner myself. Where it's like, okay, you got to make a video on this day and do this time, and like, okay, all right, well, I set this up, got to do it. So I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Sometimes the motivation's not there. I don't know.
I prefer to make my videos just about games and whatnot, but I like going out and filming, and that's the most popular stuff I make anyway. People like it, or the people that watch it at least like it, and they ask for more, and they far be it from me to deny people what they want, right? So, and it's fun anyway. I like hanging out and running around.
Oh no, Jim, your digital voice is dying. We need to get your batteries charged.
I know I need to drink more beer is what the thing is.
Okay.
If I had a little more alcohol in me, this would be going way more swimmingly.
Okay. So what can we expect from your channel, or what should we expect, or do you want me to expect anything, or just?
Uh,
I'm sorry. Is this a bullshit interview question? I'm sorry.
no, you can expect. I'm gonna make videos about video games, and they may or may not be any good. Not making any promises.
Any good
And
games?
then
Any hot
I'm
women?
gonna. Oh, I'll try. I try to get hot chicks whenever possible. It's just usually it's not in the cards. But there's gonna be videos about
Understandable.
games, and I'll take the camera out and I'll go shoot in arcades, or I'll just go shoot some random shit in the city, just whatever's fun. But for the most part, I try to focus everything around gaming and fit things into like that context. So just this week, I do plan on going out and drinking in Shinjuku, taking the camera with me. So I just want to do like a late night, like go hang out and hang out some bars and stuff, but also go hang out in some arcades as well. Like go get drunk and go play games at some arcades. And so that's going to be kind of the theme of the video is hanging out late night in Shinjuku, drinking and playing arcade games. So I try to have video games as a context for the videos I do whenever possible. And I like just shooting a lot of B-roll and putting cool music to shit. And so if you like lots of B-roll of the city with some kick-ass music and you like video games and shit, then you probably like the stuff I make.
Okay. Well, Life has a pretty good question in the chat here. I'm waiting for Jim to play Hong Kong 1997. How do you even get your hands on that game? I don't think there's even a physical copy of it available. Is there?
Yeah, I have no idea, and I have no desire.
Because
to
that's
play any
all.
such game.
Because you know Hong Kong '97, right?
Yeah, it's like the crazy shit with like the disembodied head floating around and that weird song and all that shit, right?
Yeah, yeah. And it's like it's a never-ending song, but I
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah, I know what that is. I have no desire to ever play such a game. I'm good.
Yeah,
Life,
no. I mean,
never. In response to your question, it's never going to happen, sir. So you can stop
I don't
expecting
think I'd
that.
want to play that game either. It just looks like a pain in the ass. It's just like, it's just having to sit through shitty games is not an enjoyable experience. It really isn't.
Not anything I look forward to.
I mean, it's like it's fun to watch people struggle. Like I'm actually having to sit through them. You're like, I'd rather play fucking Contra or something,
Yeah.
something that like
I will
progresses.
not pay for the privilege. No, thank you.
Transient image asks, when is Hard Off Hunter coming back?
I don't know. I mean, I did like a bunch of them, and I would have to find like new hard offs to go and shoot that I haven't shot already, and that just takes me getting on it. One, finding out where they are, and then two, getting on a train and going there for that specific purpose. So I have no idea when those are going to come back. I'm kind of, I don't know, I guess focusing on other things with the channel right now. But if I find one, I'll make it cool.
Okay. All right. Well, uh, that's all the questions I have for tonight.
All right.
You passed. You gotta.
Hooray!
I should give like my guests like a rating, like to see how good they passed their interview. I don't know. Fuck. Like what makes a good interview? I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know. You got me. I'm not an interviewer, and I
Yeah.
never watch interviews because I don't care.
Oh, I
So
love interviews. But maybe
I'm
I'll
gonna
go do
leave.
the show.
I'll leave that to you. You tell me what makes a great interview.
I don't know. I guess you learn something revealing about someone, or you have like kind of a deeper conversation with someone. I'm not sure. I mean, mostly I just do this just to hang out with people.
Yeah, I don't have a whole lot of deep conversations, so not
Yeah.
really of interest to me.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I want to thank you for being on the show.
Oh, absolutely.
It was a pleasure. I love not being able to see you. I
Yeah,
don't know. Wait, that's not a compliment.
you're not the first person to say that.
Oh boy. Wow. Okay, that was a backhanded compliment right there. But yeah. Um if if you ever need somebody for that, what is it? Pacific Rim? No.
Yes,
Pacific
Pacific
Bridge.
Rim. Pacific Rim, exactly. We're making Pacific Rim 3 at the company I'm interning at.
Yeah.
It's going to be off the chain. I could probably get you a part in it.
Yeah. I mean, what is it? Has anybody ever confused that? Okay, the company's name Pacific Bridge, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. All right. All right. Has anybody mixed that up?
No, you are the first.
Okay. All right.
Congratulations.
Great. I get. What do I win? Box
You
of tissue.
win. Yeah, you win, Jack, and shit. Nothing, sir.
Okay. I always like kind of like in those video games when like you supposedly win things. You get that little sound effect. It goes da 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 or something, right? I remember.
You should have some sound effects queued up for your show. You could win. You could be winning this whole show
Yeah, right.
this whole time.
It'd be great. No, I mean it'd be good. Like you win a hug. I don't know.
I would like to win. Actually, a friend of mine just sent me a bunch of Slim Jims and Frito jalapeno cheese dip in the mail, and that's what I love to dip Slim Jims in Frito Lay jalapeno cheese dip. It's like the best snack ever. So if I could win anything, I'd probably just want to win more Slim Jims and cheese dip.
All
I mean,
right.
if that's possible. I want you to hook that up for the next time we do something like this. I'm gonna need some Slim Jims and cheese dip, or I am never doing this fucking show again.
All right. Noted. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, well, I guess yeah, you said you're pretty booked with the whole Pacific Bridge thing because you said a lot of people have asked you already.
Yeah, some people have inquired.
Okay.
about the possibility of either interning there or something. And right now it's a very small company. So the only reason I think that they took me was because they thought I could help them with YouTube and stuff.
Right.
So yeah.
Okay. All right. So this has been a live recording here on YouTube. I want to thank everybody for watching / listening. Next week on this show is Hickopedia. Be sure to check out the show. It's going to be a morning show, Japan time, 10 a.m., but it'll be nighttime in Canada where she's at. So stay tuned until then. So until then, my name's Radrey, and
Yeah, KidShoryuken, and don't subscribe to my channel. I'll do the opposite of what most people will do on these. I'll tell you, do not subscribe to my channel. It's just KidShoryuken on YouTube. Do not go to my Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook. I forbid it. But thank you for having me, Radrey. This was fun.
Yeah, sure. And do not dislike his video.
You better not. You better not.
All right. See you guys.